Guys, it's the Warrior, and today I'm going to be doing a video on what your first suit should be. So you're ready to start going out, right? You've trained, you've prepared, you've gotten all that, you're ready to go out. This is going to be if you have absolutely nobody on your team, if you haven't created a team yet. So basically where I started, but you're going to do better than me, which that's not hard. So first things first, let's go over the mask, the important part that covers up what's like under it, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set you down right here and show you how to make a quick little mask out of a t-shirt. Hold on, there you go. So I have this old t-shirt that I don't really wear anymore. I have it inside out on purpose. So now I'm gonna have a mask over a mask. So I gotta go like this. And I've got my other mask is messing up my mask. Go like this. Yeah. Alright, so I look like a total dork. But then you tie the sleeves, which are somewhere, they're right here, which means I did it wrong. This takes a little bit of practice. I actually never did this, because as you know, my first mask was god-awful. And then you tie the sleeves behind your head. Alright. I recommend using a brighter shirt, like a light blue short shirt or something. Good, it's tied. And then you bring this down. And then you bring this part up. If it takes a little bit of effort to do it, then you did it right. And then you've created yourself a little ninja mask. Now, I'm going to take my under mask off and do it like this for the rest of the episode, because I'm going to talk really muffled if I don't. Also, if you want, you can move part of this up to cover up the tag, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. So yeah, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to remove my under mask and do this. Alright, I'm back. So, now, let's move on to the shirt part. So, you just find a beat up old sweatshirt that you never wear anymore, alright? This is my original suit, my orange t-shirt cut-up mask suits, and my summer suit, my old summer suit. I have a new sweatshirt for this now. And so then you put this on. Alright. So you just found this doesn't even fit me anymore, but I'm wearing this just because of the video. And to cover up this tie in the back, bring up a hood. Then you zip it up. I can't zip it up because I'm too fat. No, I'm kidding. But pretend this is zipped up, alright? So now the pants. The pants, just get some pajama pants. I did this for a long time, not these exact ones though, because I couldn't find the ones I actually used. And then you put these on, over your pants, or actually no, sorry, under your pants if you're going out. And then and then you take off the over pants and then you just change into your suit. So, just a little word of advice there for changing into your suit. Now, you get these pajama pants on, these don't fit either. Oh, the problems with being a teenager. So now, what I have is this, and this is zipped. It's zipped, alright? And then, what you do is you grab some shoes. Shoes are difficult. Shoes are very difficult. As I mentioned in my funny RLSH story video, I wore my dad's boots when I went out. So I'm going to go grab some of my old shoes or some boots. So what I recommend doing is grabbing some shoes that are just on the edge of not fitting you anymore. So yeah, I'm going to go grab some of those and be right back. Alright, so I couldn't find any shoes that barely fit me anymore, so I just went with my soap shoes. By the way, awesome shoes. They have grind plates on the bottom. You can slide on curbs and rails, etc. Badass shoes. So, yeah. Now, let's take a look at my suit. Alright, so I have a mask right here. I have a sweatshirt that I just found in my closet, you know, just a random ass shirt. And I have some pants that I will never wear outside. And I have some shoes that I won't wear because they barely fit me. So, you see the common denominator here is stuff that you won't wear. Alright? Because if you wear it, then you're going to be called out pretty quickly. So, you're probably thinking, what about armor, warrior? What about armor? That's where things get tricky. Because you can try to order it on Amazon, but let's say if you're a teen like me, your mom or dad might find out if you haven't already told them. Which, if you haven't already told them, that's fine, but I do recommend telling them if you're going to be doing this. I told my mom, and she's cool with it, and I'm thinking about telling my dad soon. So, yeah. They don't know about my channel, though, because I basically told them I go around helping people. I didn't tell them about the fighting crime part, because I don't feel like they'd be supportive of that. I'm getting off topic. So, yeah. Let's go find something to use for armor. Alright, so, what we found for armor is this. It's a top to a little plastic container. So, what you're thinking is, that's way too big to fit in my body. Well, what we can do is cut it up to fit. This is the armor I use currently to this day, and I'm actually working on getting new ones, but this was my first piece of body armor because I was always more of a shield guy, but in the winter, it gets rough, and I always thought that, like, well, in the winter I can't do parkour and stuff, so having a shield that's not flexible, this is, after multiple inconveniences, having a shield was more convenient at the time. But now, I have body armor, and I'm not switching back, because body armor is extremely helpful. Instead of a shield, you don't have to focus on using that shield properly. But instead of cutting up one of these, you could try to actually buy body armor on Amazon, which I'm going to be doing soon. But this, more importantly, is a good starting point. As you can see, it's been through quite a few training sessions with me and Savior. So, yeah. Gloves are also rather important because they kind of add to the whole look of the suit if that's important to you, which of course it is. So yeah, let's go find some gloves. Okay, so I have some old camo gloves now. These gloves I don't really use anymore, so yeah, they'll work great. So now for something that you might not think of at first, a belt. A belt is surprisingly important. Sure, you can work your way up to having something like an actual military utility belt, but for now, it is just fine to have a fanny pack with some of the 35 pack gum containers attached to it with duct tape. That is completely fine. So, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this entire suit here. So, first off, we have a mask, which is just an old t-shirt that I don't wear anymore. Well, technically I do, but for the sake of the video, I don't. And then we have an old hoodie that doesn't even fit me, but it should fit you. It should fit you. It's okay if it's a little tight, but it should fit you. Then we have the armor. The armor is kind of important. And then the belt I still have hanging up in my room, pretend it's here. The belt here is important because you can store a multi-tool, a flashlight, and just band-aids and alcohol wipes in there. Pants. I dropped it, sorry. The pants are rather important because pants are recognizable. That's the main thing here. And then the shoes. The shoes, these badass shoes, are pretty important because shoes are something people don't expect you to change. I actually met up with a friend who I wanted to recruit, but I didn't want to tell him that I was the warrior just in case. That took a lot of convincing, by the way, and it was hard work, but I managed to pull it off. He didn't work out, by the way. He checked my shoes. He checked my shoes, and when I talked to him later, he said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, even your guys' shoes are the same," because he thought that me was the warrior at the time, which I managed to talk him out of that, which that took a lot of work, but, and I was like, and he was like, even your shoes are the same. Oh, wait, no, they're not. So, yeah, just, you know, oh, gloves, by the way, worn out gloves, I forgot to mention those. But yeah, you don't need an emblem, you don't need a, you know, you don't need a military utility belt, you don't actually need soap shoes, for instance. I recommend them because they're awesome. So, yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this look at what your first suit should be. If you do not have body armor, or you do not have a fanny pack or something, 100% okay. As long as you have the main ingredients, which is mask, old sweatshirt, pants, and new shoes, you're fine. Alright? This is important to get eventually. Eventually. Try to get it as soon as possible, but don't be too upset if you can't get it within a month or two. Alright? Because it's difficult to try to find this kind of stuff. You may remember in my first suit overview, I had this hoodie, a scarf mask, a actual, like, dress belt, not like a dress, like a formal event belt, and I had a camera case. You can see, though, how I've improved over time. Everybody has to start somewhere, and if you start off worse than I did, good for you for keeping at it. When I started, I sucked. It took a lot of work for me to be able to get from where I was then to where I am now. It took non-stop effort, and that's important to know. It won't happen overnight. It will not happen overnight at all. What I expected my training to be like was, alright, I'll spend a few days on this, and then I'll be done. This in this thing was combat. Because I already learned parkour, which I'm good at that already, and I also already was a decent person at therapy, but I needed to learn more about therapy, and that took a few weeks. It will take you at least 2 months to learn everything before you get out there. Don't rush it. I know you want to just go out there already and go on a mask and go out and go do shit, right? Nope. Don't do that. This mask is extremely hot. I'm going to switch back into my old one. If I can pause the video, goddamn. Oh my god, that's so much better. Okay. So, yeah, basically what I was gonna say is, it's not gonna happen overnight at all. Don't expect it to be overnight. And that's about it. Oh, I can turn down the bright... Oh, thank God. Now that won't be bugging me. So, please, 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 please don't do what I did. And go out patrolling right away. I made a huge mistake with my patrolling. I had to learn the hard way a lot of the time. I had to get the shit kicked out of me and learn that way. That's not a good way to learn. You could argue it helped me in the long run, which it did, but there was other ways to learn those lessons. There are some lessons that you will have to learn the hard way. And that's fine. Alright? Don't expect everything to go the way you want it to. There's going to be some times where you can't do something. You're going to have to learn to live with that. You're going to mess up. I'm still working on that kidnapper case. To this day. And it's going on almost a year. Alright? It was April 19th, I think. If it was the second Friday of April that I started working that case. And it's almost a year and I'm still working on it. I've had a lead, and that's my primary suspect, but I have reason to believe that she's not a part of it anymore. So, you gotta realize that not everything that you do is gonna work out. There's going to be tons and tons and tons of times where you investigate something and it falls through. It's going to happen kind of more than not. If somebody sets you on something to do, for instance, if somebody tries to make you, okay, let's say somebody informs you of a drug deal that's going on, right? Let's say that happens. You go over there, you go and check it out, you get all suited up, geared up, ready to go. You sit there for a good 2 hours. Nothing happens. I've had situations like that. I have sat in a location for, I think my highest was 2 hours before I gave up. I am very impatient. And even then, I checked back. And by me, I mean I sat there. I sat in that exact location for 2 hours. Because I had to pee. So, and then I peed, and then I went on a regular patrol, went back and checked in every once in a while for the rest of the time. Alright? This was when I patrolled for like 3-hour periods. When I was doing ridiculous shit like that. You'll get tired. You'll start off very excited. You will lose motivation. You will. That's a fact. You will lose motivation. You just gotta learn to keep up with it. That's all you have to do is, if you start to lose motivation, watch what made you gain it in the first place. Alright? What inspired me is, I looked up the RLS in general. And I found Phoenix Jones. I found Widowster. I found just everything. I was gonna say Red Shuriken, but no, I actually kind of inspired him for never mind. I found just a bunch of cringy kids. Alright? I didn't find Spider-Man until I was, like, recently. God, that kid was an idiot. Okay, I'm sorry, shaky cam here. But anyway, the moral of the story is, don't expect to be perfect. Don't expect everything to work out. And if you find yourself, if you've lost motivation and you go and watch the stuff that made you gain motivation in the first place, and it doesn't work, quit. That's gonna sound very, very demoralizing, but if you're not having fun with this anymore, quit immediately. Because somebody who's not having fun doing this isn't going to be doing as effective of a job and could actually hinder some stuff. Make people gain hope when they shouldn't. That sounds like it would be a good thing to have hope. But a lot of the times that'll backfire real fast. So if you're having trouble with motivation and you can't get remotivated, is that a word? I'm making it a word. Remotivated. Quit. I mean, there's no point in doing it if you're not having fun with it anymore. I'm sorry, but it's just, you know, it happens. It happens to everybody. I'm sure Phoenix Jones got unmotivated after a while. Would you believe I'm getting an A in English? Like, dear God. But anyway, everybody, no matter how experienced they are, will get lack of motivationism. God, I hate myself right now. I've been, like, shaken. I've been shaken recently. I was shaken last week. Alright? My life fell apart last week. Alright? I'm not going to go into detail, but everything went to shit. But I thought that, you know what, I'm not doing this for fun anymore. I'm just, what do I do with my hands? Okay. Yet, I'm still doing this, because I realized, alright, let's think about this for a second here. Use that noggin. And I realized this is part of my life that hasn't fallen through quite yet. So, I watched a Phoenix Jones documentary. I watched a bunch of stuff. I watched stuff on, what's his name? God, the guy in the Thanatos. I watched stuff on, of course, Widowster, because he's my second favorite behind Jones himself, because, quite honestly, he's the best, honestly. He's factually the best. I watched a guy who was actually running with Phoenix Jones. That was a very funny video. If I find it, I'll link it in the comments section. But I watched some of my old videos. And by old videos, I mean Orange Mask videos. My two first videos, and I realized that's where I started. That's the hope that I had there. Hope is a very valuable thing to have. And that's why it's important to know when to give it and when to take it. Because if you give false hope, that could crush them even more. But if you give them hope and it pays through, that could lead to some trust. And trust is important. Trust is one of the most important things as an RLSH. So, yeah, this has been a very rambly video. But the main part of the video was done, so I thought, you know what, whatever. Let's ramble a bit. But, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.